guys, Jake from NJ Reacts here. I hope you're all having a fantastic day. Today I am going to be talking about the news that broke out hours ago that Roberto Mancini has apparently resigned from the Italian national team with immediate effect. Now, just a number of things to comment on that for a second there. Normally when it comes out and says that the manager's resigned with immediate effect, 9 times out of 10, it just means he's got the sack and they just want to present it as respectable as possible. But nevertheless, what the circumstances might be, he is no longer the Italy coach. Now, before we get into possible replacements, just a matter of talking about why this possibly has transpired. Now, when Mancini first came in, 4 years ago, everything had started to look promising. We went on to qualify for the 2021 Euros comfortably, winning 10 matches, all 10 in the qualifiers. We went on an absurd unbeaten record, which later on had turned out to be the longest unbeaten run in international football history, 37 games. And then going into the tournament of the Euro 2021, we played some football which I have not seen from Italy in my lifetime. A high press, real passive-aggressive football, just going at the opposition, great possession, and we scored a good amount of goals. And after the group stages, we looked like one of the favourites to go far into the tournament. And then we beat Austria. Then we went on to beat Belgium. Then we went on to beat Spain in a real tough match. And then playing England in the final, in their backyard at Wembley Stadium, we went on to win the Euros on penalties. But later on, we looked quite average. In the qualifiers for the World Cup, we ended up coming second. And that was due to some players, right, mostly not pulling their weight. Like, because these players were from that winning side in the Euros. So you'd expect us to qualify for the World Cup. But then at the same time, there were, at that moment, we looked to be still loyal to certain players that just weren't producing enough. Lots of Jorginho, lots of Verratti. We just stayed loyal for them. And Immobile as well. That's another notable one. Because he did have a poor Euros and we still were adamant of keeping him as our number 9. And then our worst thoughts ended up coming true. We did not qualify for the Euros due to a last-minute winner against North Macedonia, and we did not make the 2022 World Cup. So at the time I thought you got to give him the benefit of the doubt because he led us to an international trophy. We ended up winning the Euros, which many people believe is harder to win than the World Cup. So at that point I thought, look, if you didn't accomplish anything for us and we knew from the get-go when you signed there was going to be nothing but problems, then you'd have to go. But that wasn't the case. He won us the Euros, so me as a fan, I thought I'd give him the benefit of the doubt. But then, going into the Euro qualifiers, our first game we played England, and we looked horrific, particularly in that first half. We were 2-0 down, we managed to get a goal back, but then we lost at our own turf. First time in a qualifying match for decades. We lost at home in a qualifying match. But then we managed to get a win back. And then we have the Nations League. And then this just made me less confident in Mancini. He just ended up picking a side against Spain, which I was shocked. That is the best way to put it. I was so shocked. Like, you played Tolio, you played Bonucci, who hardly played for Juventus that season. Did not play DeMarco, and you were playing players out of position. he is just, and you were still loyal to Jorginho and to Verratti when there were so many other players that deserved to play for the Italian side. So for me, it's quite mixed emotions. I am a little bit upset because he has provided us with a great memory of winning the Euros. But then at the same time, in the last 2 years, I can understand why he did get terminated. But the timing of it, to be honest, is unideal. It's not ideal. I mean, there's never an ideal moment to sack a manager. But at the same time, now we are going to try and look for a new coach. But there are very little options. For me, personally, there are very little options to choose from. Because, I mean, obviously, the first name that is just springing to mind, and to everyone who's springing to their mind, is Conte. He is available. He's coached Italy before, and he managed to make, at that time when he was coach, an average team play some great football and function as a whole as a good team. At that moment in time, we had a great defence, we had good goalkeeping options, but our midfield and attack at the time was shocking. He managed to make a midfield of an aged Rossi, Parolo and Giaccherini play solid. And we had a striking partnership between Eder and Grazie Roberto. So, you know, if he could do that with that team, then who knows what he can accomplish with this squad that we have at the minute. But then at the same time, we are talking about a completely different type of football that Conte is going to play. He loves to play the back three, a real defensive counter-attacking side that he is renowned for. Whereas the team we've seen under Mancini, the way they play, it is quite a contrast in styles here. And there'll probably be a bit of quite a difference for the players to get around. But at the same time, there is a few players that are currently in their club that play that style of football. And I know for a fact that Conte would pick the most deserved players. The likes of Tonali, who should be a regular star in my opinion. Mancini didn't do that. The best back three, if we have to pick a back three, has got to be Gatti, Acerbi and Bastoni. But he was still latching on to the players that have previously done well for him, like Bonucci and Toglio. Don't get me wrong, Toglio is a good centre-half. He is a good centre-half. But he is not the centre-half out of all the centre-halves we have got that deserves to play. And he didn't play DiMarco as well. Still playing Spinazzola at that full-back position on the left. Don't get me wrong, Spinazzola is still quality. But DiMarco, at this moment in time, is our best left-back. And then the thing that really hit home was Bonucci. Under Chiellini, if Chiellini was still playing and he was at his best, that is the best partnership you can get. But Chiellini is retired from international football, and I think Bonucci is probably retired now. But Bonucci, if he's not with Chiellini, he's not going to perform as well as he usually does. That is just a fact. So if we were to pick Conte, that would work. Like in terms of a team performing well, but whether if he's going to get us over the line, I don't know, of winning international tournaments. But then I look at it, he is really the only candidate, in my opinion. Because Ancelotti, to be honest, would have been ideal for me. But he has agreed to join Brazil in 2024 when his contract with Real Madrid is up. So Ancelotti is not an option. And other possibilities that I've been hearing about, you know, I mean, possibly Pirlo, but he's now with Sampdoria, has just recently signed. But if I'm being honest, if you had a chance to either coach Sampdoria or Italy, 9 times out of 10, you're going to pick Italy. So Pirlo is possibly another one, but he's not ready. Pirlo is not ready. He could get the opportunity, but right now he is going from club to club. After the Juventus sacking, he went on to go coach in Turkey, and now he's coaching a Serie B side in Sampdoria, who were horrendous last year. And if he can't get anything going with them, then possibly he might never be ready. And then someone brought up, a cousin of mine, who brought up the idea, what about Zidane? And I just said to him, there is no chance Zidane is going to be coaching us. Do you not remember 2006? Zidane will never pick that job ever in his life. Never. So that is out the window. But then I keep thinking of possibilities here, but Conte is just realistically the only option. And I am not going back to a manager who's coached at a low level. Like, remember Giampiero Ventura? He was coaching at Torino at the time, who was shocking, not to mention a load of other low mid-table sides. And he played this just dreadful football for us to watch. Dreadful. Picking players that did not deserve to play. His game management was shocking. We cannot go with a manager who's been managing at that level. I don't care which country, any manager of that level, he cannot be coaching an international football side like Italy. And then another possibility, which I think would maybe happen, with the retirement of Gianluigi Buffon, and he's now joined the Italy coaching side. He's part of the coaching staff. There might be a possibility that he might get the job. Possibly. But, no. I love Gigi, greatest goalkeeper of all time, and I believe that he may be one day up there as a very good coach. But you don't pick this as your first job. It would just be too much for him to handle for his first management job. So, I keep going back to it. Conte is the only option, just due to the fact that in terms of Italian coaches, he is realistically the only one available right now that isn't with a club that has coached us before, and not only that, has coached at the highest level. He's coached in Champions League. He's won numerous league titles with Juve, Inter, and then of course winning the Premier League with Chelsea. That is the only option. That is the only real candidate I can see taking the job and will do well at it. So for me, if I had to make the decision on which coach to pick, it would have to be Antonio Conte. Let me know what you guys think of the situation of Mancini leaving and who you think will be the next Italy coach in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Come join the ANJ family. Much love.